Welcome, everybody, to On Point Live. I'm Michael Horn, along with the stars of our show, the one and only Vince Ferragamo, Los Angeles Rams, a legendary Super Bowl 14 quarterback, one of the all-time greats. Good to have you with us.
Great, Michael. Thank you. Got that right.
Hold on a second. The chair is empty, but he's here with us in spirit on a Zoom call. I'm talking about Hall of Fame four-time NFC Offensive Lineman of the Year, Mr. Jackie Slater is here. Where are you, Jackie, that you can't be in studio, for gosh sakes?
Well, I'm at home, and the reason why I wasn't able to make it in today is because my son and his four kids came to visit, and I thought maybe I'd stick around and spend as much time with them as I possibly could before they left and went back to Boston.
He obviously has his hands full too, because he's got
how old are
four little rugrats running around like crazy.
How old, Jackie?
Well, they run from the ages of 9 down to 2. And so, and so it has been a lot of fun, a lot of excitement. I mean, I was yesterday at a public place, and we were having lunch, and my youngest grandson, Micah, was not pleased with what we decided to give him for lunch. So he sat there and he cried nonstop without a tear rolling down his face for about an hour.
Wow.
And
did he get his way, Jackie? Did you have to find something else for him to eat or what?
Well, we offered him just about everything, and you know, at the end, he just wanted to get back to walking over there to seeing the animals. We were at a zoo here at the Santa Ana Zoo, so he was having a conniption about the food, but he wanted to get back to the animals.
So we have our podcast, our video podcast. If you see a sock hit Jackie in the side of the head, you know the kids are at play. They're at the house. It's pretty. Vince, at your place, you got the winery. Your kids have glasses of wine, don't they? And just kind of sit back and relax.
No, they sit in front of the TV and watch their game plays and Netflix and all these kind of movies and stuff.
That's good.
But they run around like crazy. Jackie's got 3 grandsons, 1 granddaughter. You know,
man is blessed, let me tell you. And we are blessed, Jackie, too, to have you guys doing the show. Our website, onpointlive.net, is the website. Check us out on YouTube. Subscribe to On Point Live with Vince and Jackie. And don't forget to follow us on Instagram, too, on.point.live. Harmony Cheese is our sponsor, the greatest cheese around. We're heading to Green Bay very soon. HarmonyCheese.com is the website. Find out all the greats. Hey, you got the Abergelli there at the house you can hold up later on, Jackie?
Actually, I did have 1 block of Abergelli left, and I stashed it right back in the right hand.
I got the Parmesan at my house.
That's why he was crying. He couldn't get the cheese. All right, we're going to take a quick break. Don't forget to email us, onpoint@crntalk.com. Again, onpoint@crntalk.com. It's On Point Live. We'll be right back.
Men's Sweet 16.
All right, Sweet 16. Okay, this is 10 minutes, right? 10 on the clock. All right, here we go.
Hey, way to go, buddy. Good job. Nice intro.
Thank you. Welcome back to On Point Live. I'm Michael Horn, along with the legendary Vince Ferragamo, Jackie Slater from the Los Angeles Rams. Jackie is on assignment this week somewhere in the depths of Orange County. We don't know where. He's got his family visiting him, and they were at the zoo yesterday. Today, he's got them all kind of chained down in the chair so they can watch On Point Live, our podcast. Be creative here. Smart thinking, Jackie. It's
they're
good.
They're pretty quiet back.
He's got them gagged. They're gagged back.
Yeah, they're gagged.
Yeah, I'm kind of barricaded in this room right now, fellas.
He's got the bed, and he's got the closet, things in the chest of drawers of theirs right in front of the door. All right, let's talk a little basketball. Can we talk a little bit about the Sweet 16? Start with you, Vince. What do you think? Who do you like?
Well, this is March Madness. This is a great time of the year to be a basketball fan and a fanatic. You know, there's so many great teams out there across the country. Jackie and I both have our own opinions. I think some of the best teams are in the final 16 now, Michael. I think the number 1 team in the men's basketball is probably Duke. I think they have some great players, a great coaching staff, and as Jackie would probably allude to, there's great tradition, and Duke winning with Coach K for many years, and now them. And Auburn, another great team. The SEC's loaded with talent. For basketball, they got a great team. Florida's got a good team. Alabama, they're all in it.
So Jackie, you're a big Duke fan as well too. Am I right? You love Duke.
Yeah, I mean, I just, what I am is I'm a traditionalist, I guess. I mean, if you look at the Duke program, I mean, Shayer, their head coach, was a former standout player for them there. And he understands the priorities of an organization that consistently wins. And that's one of the things that I like. And I think this could be duplicated anywhere. It doesn't just have to be at the college level, the basketball program. It could happen anywhere in pro sports, in football. I've seen it happen in pro football. You go out and get people who understands what you're all about, and you're probably going to win. Now, you top that off with a guy like Cooper Flag. This young man is outstanding. He reminds me of just an energetic, more athletic Larry Bird. And you know what a great player Larry Bird was. This guy is fantastic. And I think the momentum that they built during their regular season, they were 33-3. That's a lot of ball games to win consistently against the talent that they were playing against. For me, I'm going to go with the front runners, people who respect tradition, and they hold people in their organizations accountable to that tradition, and it attracts the great players. Cooper Flag could have gone anywhere, but where is he playing? At Duke.
That's the question. And Vince, let me ask you, the good seem to always get better. It's like Duke always seems to be in the hunt at the end of the year, and it's like they get the good players, the people want to come to the – I mean, you have to really work at losing that, and teams have done that in the past, but Duke seems pretty strong. What's the secret? Coaching, staff, structure, the organization? What is it?
Well, you hit the nail on the head, I think, with coaching, because coaching is so vital. And your premier players too might have to buy into the system. And another team that has great coaching is Tom Izzo, who's been in this divisional play 32 times consecutive. I mean, that's consistency, as Jackie said, and they just have a system for winning. I mean, it's in place, and of all this stuff that we hear, the NIL and the portal, kids transferring back and forth, the only team really that hasn't had any transfers is Purdue. But second best is Michigan State. Why is that? Well, they believe in the program. They go there for a reason, and it used to be where you go to college to get an education. Now some of these guys are going for the money. If they're a great athlete, they go for the money and they sign up
some deals. You get a little NIT there going.
It's like, wow. But I do agree with that, and I think coaching has a lot to do with it. And there's so many great coaches now throughout the league, and you've seen Calipari do it with Arkansas, and you saw Patino do it. He just was beaten in the last week in the 32. But I mean, there's so many good teams out there that any of these teams have a shot. But my favorites are Duke, Auburn, Florida, Texas Tech, Tennessee, Alabama, Houston, and Duke. I think to make it in the final.
Where does we got the name, image, and likeness that comes in here, Jackie, and all of a sudden these guys are playing in the Sweet 16, but they're trying to cut deals for sneakers and other stuff over there. What's this all about? It's college. Can't we be students for a while? It's overshadowing the structure and the fun of the tournament.
Well, one of the things that we found out years and years ago, Kobe Bryant and, of course, LeBron, the great LeBron James, these guys would go and play a year high school, sometimes no high school, and they jump right into the pros because they were after chasing that buck. They had the opportunity and want to run the risk of getting hurt. Nowadays, because of the fairness that the NCAA has been forced to levy with all players, these players now can stay working at the degrees in college at multiple universities while making unusually high amounts of money, because this money now is being shared with the players that was normally all going to the NCAA and all of their entities. So for me, when I look at that, I see it keeping, for basketball players, it's going to keep them in the college environment a little bit longer. Some of the great players are going to stay in the college environment a little bit longer because they don't have that early urge and that early opportunity to get paid out, for what they do. They can get paid at the college level now.
I can't believe it. I'm a geography major. What do I have to do? Find a streak of gold somewhere to go ahead and get the same thing? You feel strongly about this, Vince Ferragamo. You think it's a little too much too soon?
Well, I think the timing is a little off too, because I think the portal is opened up now during
we want to watch the tournament,
March
right?
Madness.
Yes,
it's almost like having the NFL free agency open up after the wild card weekend. I mean, it's kind of crazy.
Thank you, Corey
the
Marino.
timing, but
Corey, our producer, got that for us. That was a good one. It's true.
like this movement. Well, I've always been a believer in tradition, and alumni association. And, when I played ball back in the day, I went from Cal, which was put on probation. We didn't have a chance to go to the Rose Bowl, which was something I was ambitious for when I was a young kid growing up. And so I went to Nebraska, but I had to sit out a year, so I had to redshirt a year.
You had to sit out a year?
Yeah,
Why?
because I transferred outside the conference. Had I transferred in the Pac-12,
you would have been okay.
Pac-8, no, I would have had to sit out 2 years.
Oh, come on.
There's a restrictive thing. So, it's like it's not automatic and should not be automatic. You transfer from one team to another in the same year and play. I mean, that seems a little ridiculous.
It's almost like
to
you
me.
can handpick the best guys as you see how the season unfolds. And let's get that guy.
Well, I'm not happy here.
Absolutely.
I want to go somewhere else. I mean,
Jackie?
That's not
Vince
fair.
and I are both old school, and we were comfortable seeing it done the other way. You see guys jumping teams, kind of like what they're doing in the NFL and pro basketball now. When you become a free agent in the pros, you can go someplace else and get more money. That's what we're witnessing every day. Well, why, if the players at the college level, why are they disallowed the opportunity to do the exact same thing when they're in the business of generating all of this money? So, at first I didn't like it, but I'm starting to see the value of it when it comes to free enterprise relative to your services that you're providing.
I don't know. It seems a little too much too soon. Like we say, we're moving down to eventually the Final Four and then a championship. And these guys are already, before the whole tournament starts, they're already sniffing around to see what they can get as far as name, image, and likeness and get some deals signed up. It's not right. Guys move from team to team to showcase themselves even more, right? That's the transfer portal we were talking about.
Yeah, it's very active now, Jackie, and you've seen it now. Even with women now, they want to make more money as well, and they're almost threatening to strike the WNBA because they feel that they deserve more money. A lot more people are watching. Caitlin Clark, there's been a lot of Angel Reese has gained a lot of excitement for women's basketball as well. And Mike, to tell you the truth,
Juju Watkins.
Now we have, and now let's jump, Jackie. Let's jump over to the women's bracket, the final 16, and what happened in this past weekend, and what's moving forward. What teams you like?
Well, I still like USC, and it was devastating to watch Juju Watkins go down. And Vince, I don't know if you saw her slicing to the basket the way she was when she hurt her knee, but it was really a dynamic movement. And she came down on that leg and it's just collapsed on us. And you and I both have talked about how often young ladies experience this ACL tear. It's devastating. But I was pleased to see Kiki Irian, I think it's Irivan, come in and put up 35 points. So that's the sign of a good team to have.
Jackie, hang on. We're going to take a quick break here. And let us know your thoughts, too. Go and email us, onpoint@crntalk.com, onpoint@crntalk.com. Our sponsor, harmonycheese.com, harmonycheese.com, the best cheese anywhere. Put your own cheese packs together. Get it sent out to you before the big weekend coming up here. So check it out here. On Point Live with Vince Ferragamo and Jackie Slater. Right back at you. Finish up with the girls, and then we'll go to George Foreman. Let me get myself set here for that. That goes here, girls here. And
who's the women's coach for South Carolina women's basketball?
Let me find out.
Dawn Staley, yeah.
You got it?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, we did the transfer portal. We did that. Oh, we got.
Who's the number one player for UCLA women's basketball?
What is it now? Oh, you're talking to it again. We're going to do that. And then we get back down here to losing some people. Okay. So that was segment 2. This is segment 3, 12 minutes, right?
Yeah, this one's going to be 12 minutes. London Jones, is that the girl? Or is it Janaya? Yeah, no, I think it is her. Is this the girl? No.
Oh, boom, boom, boom.
Who's the big tall center for? Who plays center for UCLA women's basketball?
What were we going to talk about in this segment again? We had
This one was George Foreman and
Kenneth Sims, and then what else?
And then we're playing that.
That piece.
What
yeah.
about the boxing? When are we gonna get?
We're doing it
George?
this segment.
So yeah, we're just gonna.
Boxing in this segment.
They could go on.
We're doing girls, and then we're going to George Foreman and Kenneth Sims.
Yep. And I think that was a good segment.
Well, Lauren Betts, that's the girl, isn't it?
And I do want to talk briefly when we finish up with the girls, since we're talking about name, image, and likeness. You have, what's that? The student manager, Amar Khan, is in college hoops, received an NIL deal worth over $100,000. Come on.
Yeah.
Right.
It's a manager. There's room for me.
Is Lauren Betts
What
sound
exactly does
familiar?
the manager do?
He makes $100,000.
Is that the girl, Lauren Betts?
Yeah, it's a girl. I think it's a girl. Isn't it a girl sports manager?
No,
It's a guy, Amir.
That's Corey.
Amir
That's
Khan.
Corey.
Amir Khan.
Betts is the big girl.
Do you remember he
6'7".
started in that The Wrath of Khan when Shatner went, Khan! Remember that? That's when he saw the $100,000. Shatner went, it's more money than he's making. Khan!
Good.
I
Okay,
don't remember that.
it's a good movie. It's a great Shatner impression.
Okay, so we're starting with women's basketball, and then we're going to go to the.
Yeah, and we're going to go to
Foreman
the
and,
NIL deal
Sims.
for Amir Khan, and then we're going to go to that.
What?
And you're going to,
Oh,
we'll be
okay.
fine by the time we get to. Okay, ready to go when you guys are. It's the
right,
13 minutes on the clock. 12 minutes, I'm sorry. I'm off by a little bit today. All right, here we go. Welcome back to On Point Live. I'm Michael Horn, along with Vince Ferragamo, Jackie Slater with us via remote somewhere unknown in Orange County. Vince Ferragamo, the famed quarterback for the Rams. You now, of course, in real estate, in real estate. You do a good deal, and you've got wines. Tell us about your winery.
Well, Vince Ferragamo Vineyards, obviously, they're in Orange County. Mike, we make one of the top Super Tuscan varietals with Sangiovese, Cabernet Franc, and we just completed now all the pruning. So everything's getting ready. We've dripped.
How's that hand?
It's okay. It's great.
It gets
Now
sore,
it's good.
doesn't
My
it?
back got a little sore this year.
Wrap him up,
It
man.
was,
it's worse growing grapes than it was playing
But
football.
you know, it's well worth it because
it?
now we're in springtime and things are starting to bloom, and you know it's going to be. Hopefully, it'll be a good harvest. Some people say, "Hey, when you look at the grapes when they're real teeny like that, do you know they're going to be a good harvest?" You really don't. You just don't know how it's going to turn out.
Got to taste as you go.
You're right.
It's good.
Well, I'd have to say, Vince, most of the wine that you've produced has tasted pretty good up to this point. So I can't see why.
Thank you, Jackie, for saying that.
The great
because
Jackie
we believe
Slater.
it.
And Jackie, we talk about it here on the show all the time. You've got your own little training camp, so to speak. You've worked with some of the great professionals in football, getting them ready to go. And I guess your whole family found out about it because they're there visiting you, and you got youngsters in there 3 years old already taking hits with the famed Jackie Slater. But listen to the broadcast. We'll talk about getting training from Jackie Slater. Okay, let's get back into the ladies, to the women's basketball NCAA. Start with you, Jackie. Who do you like in Sweet 16?
Well, I mean, I haven't lost my passion for watching USC basketball this year, even though it's hard for me to say that because my son went to UCLA and we're supposed to be just diametrically opposed to everything that's going on over there at USC. But the Juju Watkins, she's just been an amazing athlete for me to watch. And I was watching her when she went down and blew out her ACL, and I thought to myself, man, I've seen 100 guys with that injury, and and they were much more well equipped muscularly in their upper leg, and I'm just thinking, man, it's going to be an arduous rehabilitation program for that young lady, and I'm thinking to myself, right after she got hurt, where are they going to go from here? And then Kiki steps up and she puts 35 points in. And I'm watching her. She did a fantastic job distributing the ball. In addition to scoring, she pressured the ball as a defender. And I thought to myself, man, I guess this is what great teams are made of. And that's having great backups and knowing when those guys and everybody knows they can step in and fill the shoes of somebody like Juju, who was lost for the year.
Vince Ferragamo, your thoughts? What team you like?
Well, of course, Don Staley with South Carolina is the team to beat in this tournament. It has been the last couple years, and I think also Gino Auriemma has won so many of these games. He's probably been in the playoffs 32 times overall. He's got perhaps one of the top players in the country for UConn. They're a team to contend with. So I think they'll probably be the two teams in the final. I think without Juju Watkins, Jackie, USC is limited now. This is a great player. You just can't replace a player like that, and I think it'll show up in the next game. But UCLA's got a shot too, Michael, because they got Lauren Betts, who's 6'7". She's a powerhouse down low.
Yes,
and
she is.
She can really create a lot of havoc down there, and I think she's got as good a chance as any.
That's when you make your brackets. That's one thing you forget about is what part does injury play in the game and how it can change the look of the team. But you guys have probably played on some teams where you thought you were down and out. Pat Hayden goes down on the Rams, and all of a sudden, okay, Vince Ferragamo's chance to star and to go, and the team turns around. So sometimes that happens, Vince. Jackie,
next man up, right? Jackie Kiki did it with SC, but women have a hard time. Any player, any athlete, if you have an injury, a prior injury, you kind of favor that limb or that ankle, and then all of a sudden some other body part is going to suffer from it. And I think that's what happened with Juju in that drive to the basket. I mean, she was probably favoring her ankle a little bit. She didn't look like it, but, subconsciously you're thinking about it, and you went into a contact, and, it didn't look good. So her ACL, and women have a propensity to have ACL injuries. I don't know, maybe it's the structure of the knee.
You guys are experts on injury. Jackie, you've talked on this before. When LeBron James went down for the Lakers, you thought he may be out for a long time, and all of a sudden he's in, and they started that big win streak or whatever. You never can tell on the person, the player, the severity of the injury. Am I right?
Absolutely, and I'm a prime example because I would never have thought with what I saw that LeBron would have been back and performing as well as he has since he's been back. So that just goes to show you that everything you think is happening is not exactly the case. But injury, make no mistake about it, in any sport, especially basketball, is devastating. And we've seen it over the years where teams were heading in a good direction, like what we thought we were seeing with USC, and then they lose a star player, and then everything goes to pot. But that didn't happen with USC, and I'm going to disagree with Vince just a little bit. I think that Kiki, the young lady who came on and took over that team when Juju got hurt, was extraordinarily good. And she was poised, and she showed some leadership abilities. I think the girls who were playing with her realize that they're not necessarily in the worst of hands now that Juju is out.
And Jackie speaks from experience. Yesterday, he got hit in the head with a flapjack thrown by his grandkid. So, are you okay, Jackie? You look good. That's good. Okay.
Actually, it was a sausage biscuit.
Okay. Sometimes I get him wrong here. There.
I don't like this thing.
I'm telling you, he's one of the greats. Now. Sad week, and this is a guy I wish I would have met, and I did not. I'm talking about the legendary George Foreman. I watched him on TV with Terry Bradshaw and William Shatner and the guys on the road doing. Oh, and Henry Winkler, I think, were there, and they were four guys touring different places. What a man, what a guy. We have a tribute here that if we could, Benstown put this together for us, and we thank them for it. Take a listen to George Foreman.
Former heavyweight boxing champion George Foreman, known as much for his gregarious personality as his vicious right hook, died Friday. He was 76 years old. Foreman, known in his post-boxing career for pitching his now omnipresent countertop grill, was heavyweight champion twice. He also won gold at the 1968 Mexico City Olympics.
George Foreman wins the gold medal of the 19th Olympiad in Mexico City.
Foreman won his first heavyweight title at just 24 with the stunning knockout of the then undefeated Joe Frazier.
Down goes Frazier! Down goes Frazier! Down goes Frazier!
Foreman's most famous fight ended in his first professional loss to Muhammad Ali in October 1974. He surrendered the heavyweight title and the knockout loss, but he would regain the belt after a 10-year retirement in a fight in 1994 against Michael Mora. George Foreman lived a life marked by unwavering faith, humility, and purpose. We remember George Foreman.
And what a family man, too. Speaking of a lot of grandkids, and they were all named George, as I recall. He named him that way. Jackie, we'll start with you. Start with you on George Foreman.
Man, some of the greatest moments in the sport of boxing, George Foreman was right at the center of those great moments. And the announcer just reminded us. I can still hear Howard Cosell yelling, "Down goes Frazier, down goes." And you remember Joe Frazier was one of the most devastating and explosive boxers that we saw during his era. And then a little bit later on over there, you got to hear Muhammad Ali go there and hear him talking about roping the dope. I mean, two of the biggest fights in the history of the sport was centered around George Foreman. And the thing that I think George Foreman did was to endear himself to everyone after he retired was to smile, to simply smile, because he never smiled when he was competing as a boxer. And he began to smile, and he was selling those George Foreman grills left and right. And when you think about it, this is kind of if we were to ask Shaquille O'Neal, he might be willing to tell us that he looked at George Foreman and he picked up some things from him. Because remember about George Foreman nor Shaquille O'Neal, when they were playing, they never smiled. Shaquille O'Neal was, people look at him and they run away from him. And now he's got this big, lovable, endearing smile. People just have fallen in love with him, and he's one of the top pitchmen of all time, just like George Foreman was. So
Vince, what do you think?
What they have in common.
What do you think, Vince Ferragamo?
When they played, they were so intimidating, all of them. And as Jackie mentioned, boxing was at the forefront of all sports back in those days with Foreman, with Joe Frazier, Muhammad Ali, even before that, Rocky Marciano. But they just made boxing such a relevant sport. I mean, something that was athletic, and it was powerful, and it was great to watch. It was entertaining. You never knew what was going to happen. Was it going to get knocked down in the first round, in the 15th round? But, after their careers, they were smart enough to realize how jovial they were, and their personalities came to show. They would shine with a beautiful smile. It was very sellable. It could sell anything. George Foreman with the grill. Then you see Shaq doing all the commercials. And, they've made so much more money outside the rink and outside the court in advertisements and in commercials and being spokespersons because of their personality, Michael.
It's true.
And don't forget how generous these guys are. I mean, these guys have made a lot of money, but they give a lot of money to people just every day, leaving these outstanding tips. And Shaquille O'Neal bought a guy's wedding ring for him. Just think about it. He saved the guy several grand just being nice. And that's the kind of thing that I appreciate about both.
Two things I see from this gentleman, and that is, number one, they were leaders in the civil rights movement. You didn't see color. You saw a guy that was a champion. You rooted for him as a fighter. You didn't care whether he was black or white. They led that charge without even realizing it, and they did. And then they became even greater at the end when they became friendly and TV and all that kind of stuff. The second thing is, boxing will never be the same without those guys and without the likes of the Howard Cosells, the announcers. Down goes Frazier, down goes... That made boxing great. We need to bring those days back, I'll tell you.
That's for sure.
Yeah,
we should. And
we'll miss him. We got more to talk about.
Together,
we'll take a little break when we come back. Don't forget, email us. Tell us what you think about this. Email us at onpoint@crntalk.com. That's onpoint@crntalk.com. Check out the cheese from Harmony Cheese. It is the most delicious cheese you will ever have. You can put your own custom pack together. Take a look at harmonycheese.com. Again, that's harmonycheese.com. Vince and Jackie will be back. It's On Point Live. Come back. You wanted to talk, Jackie. You want to talk?
Is this our last big long one?
Yeah, this is.
Okay, so we're going to talk football a little. Kenny Sims, right?
Yeah.
Are we going to talk basketball?
So if you want to start with Kenny, I would go football, then Mookie.
Don't forget about Puka.
Yeah, we're going to put him into football. So we're going to start.
What are we going to start with here?
We're going to start with. Hang on.
Kenny Sims, who died.
Yeah, it's going to talk with
Sims.
With Kenny Sims, Kenneth Sims.
One.
And that's going to be number one. Then it's going to get into football. Puka. We should talk about Aaron Rodgers, too, where he's going to play.
Okay, two.
Okay.
Puka.
Then we can talk Mookie Betts.
And then don't forget Bronny.
Yes.
Bronny.
Yeah,
Don't
then we
forget
can
Bronny and Mookie Betts.
Yeah, then we can talk
Wait,
Mookie, and then
okay.
we can talk
okay,
about.
wait, Puka, and then well, in football, are we going to go to Aaron Rodgers, right?
Yeah.
Okay, 3. Okay, 1, 2.
Can you believe in 100 years, Jameis Winston is possibly going to be the first black quarterback to start for the New York Giants?
Well, that you can say that real quick too.
Yeah.
How about the Boston Celtics selling for $6.1 billion? No,
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. This,
is that for basketball? Right? Are we going to end up with basketball?
basketball will end up.
Okay, that would be 4, right?
So basketball, the Boston Celtics,
And then what about
6.1. You want to
And
talk
then-
about LeBron James and Bronny, right?
where the Lakers
Yeah.
are going and what's going on with the Clippers? Lakers and Clippers.
Gotcha.
Well, don't forget about Kenneth Sims.
You were leading with
Yeah,
that.
we're starting with him, Jack, right?
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, okay.
And then Aaron Rodgers.
All right, ready to go here. We got 14 minutes. Got plenty of time here. 14 minutes in this last large segment. Ready to go when you guys are. Hang on one sec. A little sip.
Okay. Yeah, hold on.
Oh, yeah. There we go.
Oh, what about Tom Brady?
Oh, yeah. Tom Brady. I forgot I was going to mention
Was
that.
that with football? Which one?
Tom Brady, Belichick.
Is that with the football at Puka?
Yeah, we'll add that with football.
After Puka.
After Puka. All right. Tom
After
Brady.
Puka and Aaron Rodgers. Then Tom Brady last.
All right.
All right, here we go. 14 minutes on the clock.
14 minutes on the clock. Here we go.
Welcome back. It is On Point Live. I'm Michael Horn, along with the stars of our show, the one and only Vince Ferragamo, Jackie Slater from the Los Angeles Rams, and this is our whirlwind tour of what's happening in the world of sports. Now, we mentioned that we lost George Foreman in that last segment, but Jackie, I know you want to talk a little bit about Kenneth Sims, two-time All-American defensive tackle at Texas and the first 1982 NFL first overall pick. He passed away this week also at the age of 65. Tell us about him.
Well, what an outstanding talent he was, and fortunately for us at this particular moment in time, Vince does not have to, chime in as to how good he really was because he didn't sack Vince. We played them in 1983, and we went back there, and Vince, I hope you remember this. You threw a 45-yard touchdown to George Farmer, and then you threw a 2 touchdown passes and a 15-yard touchdown pass and an 11-yard touchdown pass to Preston Leonard. Then Eric Dickerson had a 2-yard run. We beat them 41-17, I think it was. Yeah. And you guys left the game. I remember like it was yesterday. You guys walking into the locker room with these smiles on your face, hardly even sweating at all, and just talking about how you worked that secondary and everything. I'm thinking, why you guys doing that? I was up here wrestling with this gorilla. This guy was an unbelievable talent, man. He, injury kind of took his toll on him, but big and strong and rangy and long and everything you want from a guy. He was an outstanding physical specimen and just dominated at the college level. And injuries, those boom, 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 boom. A lot of the things that he didn't have to deal with in college, he was seeing from veteran people like myself who were doing these things and neutralize them, and it caused him a lot of injuries as well. He was an unbelievable football player, is what I remember.
Vince Ferragamo, your thoughts?
Well, it's a good thing I didn't see players like that who are so talented up and close and personal because I had such a great offensive line in front of me.
Jackie
so
was
after
there,
the
right?
game, yeah.
Thank you, Jackie, for all that you did.
That's
that was
it. Well, I tell you what, it's a blessing to have as a quarterback. The first thing is your protection, and if you don't have those guys up front, you can't complete the passes down the field. But yeah, Kenneth Sims was another one of the greats, was very dedicated to his sport and prepared for each and every game. And as Jackie said, he was in a fight with him from the first start of the whistle to the end of the game. And so, yeah, after a game like that, though, Jackie, you've been in a game, haven't you?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
At least that's what I was thinking as I was sitting on the plane watching you guys play cards and grinning and everything after the game was over.
He had the Sloan's liniment on. He put a little Ben Gay on
My
there.
goodness.
Let me say
I
this.
had a lot of ice bags, that's for sure.
I don't know if a lot of you know this, but you know those day after Thanksgiving sales and stuff? The three of us like to go, and Vince and I kind of hang back and send Jackie in front to kind of clear the way in the line so we can get into the TV section, get a big screen. Thank you, Jackie, for all you do. All right, let's talk a little bit. Okay. Let's talk about now.
Football.
We got somebody retiring already. Puka Nakoa says he's going to retire.
Can you believe it? You know, some guys just play 20 years like Jackie, and then Puka's here, only in his third year.
He's in his third year.
23 years old. He says he wants to retire at age 30, right, Jackie?
So how old is he now?
But let me tell you
20?
something. He's 23.
23.
But this is a mature statement from a young player like this in the league, because what he's thinking now is his future beyond football. And he knows that, hey, and if I play 10 years in the NFL, I'll have enough money to retire on. I want to start a family, right, Jackie? That's what he's talking about. I think it's a smart statement.
Jackie, how long did you play?
It's interesting for me to hear. You know, football is an interesting game, and it requires a dedication beyond just the lifting and the running and the studying the plays. It requires a dedication on the inside that says you're going to exert yourself to the maximum limit in order to help your team be successful. And so for me, you know, I most of the really special players that I played with, they said they wanted to play as long as they could. I mean, this young man has obviously he admires Aaron Donald retiring after his 10th year, going out on top. Says he wants to do that. He also says he wants to have 5 sons, not 5 children, but 5 sons. Boy. And unfortunately, you can't predict whether or not you're going to have 5 consecutive sons. So there's a possibility that he can have 3 daughters, then 2
putting the pressure on the stork.
Yeah, absolutely. So, you know, I admire a young person like that who, you know, knows what he wants to do and what he wants. But the biggest thing is he can dream like that and he can think that way because of the groundwork that Vince Ferragamo and myself and Eric Dickerson and some Irv Pankey, Bill Bain, that we laid for this league to see the money that these guys are making now, you know, and I dare say on the backs of some really good players who didn't have the opportunity. So if that's what he wants to do, God bless him. I'm happy to see him. But most of the men that I've known play this game, they played this game and wanted to play it as long as they could because they loved every single thing about it.
So he's going to play 7 and out. And what did the great Vince Scully say? If you want to make God smile, just tell him about your plans, right? That's all you have to do. Because things always change. Jackie, what did you play, 20 years? Is that right?
I got 20 seasons in, yes.
20 seasons. So when you were 33 in your first year with the Rams, did you say you're going to retire?
23.
33. Did you say you're going to retire in your 50s?
He'd be 53 if he started 33.
He's great. He's a Hall of Famer. What can I say? I mean, come on.
I was 22 when I started.
How about
we took it 1 year at a time, Michael. That's 1 year at a time. I got to make the team first, you know, and then I'll take 1 year at a time.
And you change positions all the time. I think you were a tackle once, as I recall, but I can't remember. But
I played tackle. I played guard, but I was the starting tackle for the Rams from my 3rd year on.
And Vince, you had a fight for your position there as quarterback at the Rams, as I recall. I mean, your plans, you got to kind of produce to make things happen, you guys. Both of you did that.
Well, you don't have the luxury today of when we played free agency. We strive to have free agency back then. But, you know, who's in the news today as quarterbacks in the NFL as a free agent still is Aaron Rodgers. We got to talk about that.
Now, where's he going to sign, Aaron Rodgers?
Well, look, this guy is not warm and fuzzy, all right? He's rough on the edges, but he likes to do things his own way. So will he go to the 49ers? I don't believe so because it's too structured of an offense for Aaron Rodgers. He likes to have the instinctive side of things and say, hey, do it my way. Okay, this is how we're going to do it. And he'll show his team, and he wants to be the leader up front. So I think the perfect place for Aaron Rodgers is the Pittsburgh Steelers because their offense needs a player like that. They obviously have the defense, all the money spent on defense, but, you know, he'll add a lot to that offense. And I think this is the only place for him to go.
Jackie, what do you think?
Vince and I, we could be dead wrong on this, but I do agree because I think Coach Tomlin has been a guy that's been an excellent leader of his football team over the almost 20 years or whatever it is that he's been coaching there. And to have the unique personality that Rodgers would bring to the table of just saying, "Hey, this could be done better. We could do it that way," and people listen to him, understanding that he's had success and experience, and he knows what he's talking about, would be a huge asset for the Pittsburgh Steelers. And I think Coach Tomlin would let him have the kind of reign that he needs.
You got to have the freedom to have the reins and do what you want to do. And Mike Tomlin and Aaron Rodgers know one another, and I think it would fit it.
And you're saying Aaron is that kind of guy where he likes to see the game as it goes along and say, "Here's what we're doing now." Right?
You make the plays.
You got to have a coach that goes with that. That's Tomlin. Is there?
And he makes it work.
You've heard Vince and I talk about Sean McVay and Cooper Kupp and their quarterback Matthew Stafford, and how smart those three people are. Well, this is what I think most head coaches, they covet. They want a guy that knows just as much about the game plan and how to and can contribute to the installation of the game plan as any coach. And that's the one thing that I think Aaron Rodgers, and Vince mentioned rough around the edges. There's some rough around the edges, but I think that rough around the edges is steeped in confidence in his ability to solve problems at the quarterback position. So I think it would be a perfect fit, like Vince said, for him to go to Pittsburgh.
All right, so Tom Brady's in the broadcast booth, and Bill Belichick has now got a college team, and so what's the deal? The word comes out, Tom Brady says that maybe Belichick wasn't the best coach, or what's happening here, Vince?
Well, I think that certainly there's a lot of controversy surrounding the decision that Tom Brady left and went to Tampa Bay back in 2020. And, at the time, the New England Patriots had won so many Super Bowls, and they were looking for a replacement. But I think it goes back prior to those years in that big tension builder between Brady and Belichick. And I thought it started with Jimmy Garoppolo. They were trying to maybe make him the star. And Tom Brady took offense to it. I am the quarterback here. I've led all these Super Bowls. Wait, I'm not retiring yet. So I think it started then. And they tried Cam Newton. They tried Mac Jones. They tried Jacoby Brissett. None of that stuff worked. And obviously, they wouldn't support Tom Brady. And I think the biggest thing is coach would not look at the player and say, "Hey, look, we love you. We want you to be part of this program. We'll do whatever it takes. We're gonna continue this thing moving forward. We're gonna bring in more talent." They didn't say that to Tom. And so he chose Tampa Bay, which was a great decision on his part. They won a Super Bowl there. They had everything in place. All they needed is a quarterback. And so, to answer your question there on the controversy thing, I think that's what it came down to.
Jackie, how important is that coach-player connection? Because they had it, and then it seemed like they were, as Vince Ferragamo just mentioned, they're trying to bring in, some backups to start. And you got to look at the structure of the team and the egos involved and the guy that has led you through. You go and see a serviceman, you say, "Thank you for your service." I'm sure Tom Brady would just like to say a thank you for your service. Maybe if the coach said something like that, "We still need you around here." What are your thoughts on this, Jackie Slater?
Well, first of all, let me just say this, that my son played with the New England Patriots for 16 seasons, and I think 12 of those seasons with Tom Brady. And I've been dabbling in, sports communication now pretty much since I retired. Talking about the game is one of the things that I feel comfortable talking about, and all the time, sometimes it seems. But I can assure you that on not one occasion, if I began to delve into what was going on in New England by asking my son, the reply that he would give me is, "Dad, I got to go." And I'm off the phone with him, because whatever was happening in that organization, it stayed in that organization.
That's
good. Great. That's the way it should be.
That is exactly the way it should be.
And so I can't honestly say, beyond what I saw, what a problem was. Now, what did I see? I saw at times that I felt like Tom had needed some of these. He needed to have happen for him what happened to Joe Burrow when them just signing T. Higgins and the other dynamic
Chase.
young wide receiver.
Jamar Chase.
Jamar Chase. I had personally felt at times that was something that, but then the moment I felt that way, you come out of they pull the straws, and it'd be two wide receivers out there making plays that you never even heard of, including Julian Edelman, who's the MVP of a Super Bowl in the greatest history of the greatest comeback of all times. So I'm not gonna, I can't say honestly that I think that the problem was not supplying Tom with the kind of weapons, that he needed to be successful. I can't say that because they won all the time
Yep.
with people that they found that
We'll have them
weren't
both. Greatest
as highly
coach, greatest
touted.
quarterback.
They were
Vince, you
both
mentioned
great.
in about 30 seconds here. Brady was the kind of guy that could teach those receivers how to catch the ball, right? That's why
Yeah,
he was
went
great
to
on the
Tampa
team.
Bay, said, "Hey, look, I'll tell the running backs how to catch the ball coming out of the backfield," and that's what made them win the Super Bowl game.
That's it. All right, we'll take a break, wrap things up here. On Point Live, blowing by this week. Check out our video podcast there. Subscribe to On Point Live with Vince and Jackie. Instagram on.point.live. Our website onpointlive.net. Harmony Cheese, our great sponsor. Get the good cheese from Harmony Cheese. Make your own cheese package and have it around all year long. And email us onpoint@crntalk.com. Onpoint@crntalk.com. We'll take a quick break, wrap things up. It is On Point Live.
Quick.
We're going to finish up with either baseball season starting with Mookie and then basketball with the Lakers. Right?
Hey, Benny, how we gonna hit that? You guys gonna skip Bronny? How we gonna hit that on point? Stay on point.
Okay,
I'll call for it. I say, what do you guys always say? Final thoughts from you guys.
And what do you think, Jackie? We have to stay on point.
Stay on.
Let's remember to stay on point.
What's the length of this segment?
The length this time is 2:55.
Okay, so what do you want to do? You want to talk, just mention baseball season's opening. We're going to talk about it next week on the show. And then let's talk, you want to mention basketball? What do you want to do? Got about a minute to do it.
I'm if I have to say something, I'll just simply say, man, it's gonna be fun watching these tournaments, watching the tournaments, girls and boys. In
Well, no, we're going to talk about the NBA now. I mean, the National Basketball.
NBA.
But Lakers Clippers, Jackie.
All right, I'm going to lead you in and get you
right.
quick answers here. I'll give them to you.
Lakers,
Ready?
And then, Jackie, I'm going to say, Jackie, what do we say? Stay on point, okay?
Stay on point.
Yeah, what do we say? Stay on point.
Stay on point.
2 minutes, 55 seconds on the clock. Ready when you are.
All right, here we go.
Okay.
Welcome back to On Point Live. I'm Michael Horn with Vince Ferragamo, Jackie Slater, and it's our lightning round right now. Baseball season started, underway, getting going. Mookie Betts injured, had maybe some kind of disease there. What did he eat, for gosh sakes, while he was in
Stomach
Japan?
flu or
Vince,
something.
your
I don't
thoughts?
know.
Are you gonna
Well,
be a
I
good
hope
year?
they get him well quick because the season's around the corner. It's ready to start, and we need Mookie Betts in the lineup. So
Jackie,
let's get him going.
You're a big baseball
Absolutely,
fan.
I agree 100%. I can't imagine what he could have eaten, but nonetheless, we gotta get that weight back up on him. Say he only weighs 172 pounds. That's a little light for Mookie.
Follow us around. We'll do it. Okay, basketball. Jackie, how about buying the Boston Celtics? I hear they're for sale. You got a deal there?
Well, Vince with his mathematical mind was sharing with us that is a compounded 12% annually appreciation on the value of the club. Can you imagine what we could do if we invested money at that rate?
Jackie, $360 million bought in 2003, and it's worth $6.1 billion. That's an annual appreciation compounded of between 13 and 14% per year. Why do you think there's so much money in basketball?
Mookie Betts and I are going to run the concession stands, I think, but he'll do the food tasting.
Talking basketball, we got to talk Lakers,
What
Clippers.
about Lakers? Lakers and
okay,
Clippers,
Lakers
Vince.
lost 3 in a row, okay? So they got to get – J.J. Redick says the team looks a little lethargic, so they got to get back. But, when Jackie and I first saw Luka come to the Lakers, they had all these platforms. They had different personnel groupings. They were playing – everybody was playing the bench. The bench last night in Orlando only scored 14 points. They got to come on and start scoring. Everybody's got to score.
Jackie Slater, what about LeBron
Vince,
James?
You hit the big picture. Vince, you hit the big picture. But the little picture is this. Sasha Doncic, which is Luka's father, raised this kid to be special, and he thinks being in the bright lights of L.A. is tailor-made for him, and he expects him to take his game up another notch. And if that's the case, we are going to see one heck of a basketball player over the next few years.
That's our show. OnPointLive.net is the website. Follow us, the YouTube the video that we have here, our podcast, On Point Live with Vince and Jackie. Go to our Instagram, on.point.live. Harmony Cheese, our great sponsors. We love them, harmonycheese.com. Email us, onpoint@crntalk.com. And check out our YouTube channel at CRN Digital Talk Radio. All right, final thoughts from you, Vince and Jackie. What do you have for us?
Well, Jackie, what do we always have to say? Stay on point.
See you next week, everybody. Oh, guys, you covered a lot of stuff there. A lot of stuff. Good show.
Hey, Corey.
Yeah.
Good job,
Hey,
Michael.
Corey, what is the timing of the posting of the show?
It's whenever, because it'll go on the radio, but it's when Mike Gary will put it. It's whenever he puts it on the CRN and the YouTube.
A lot of topics.
Is the plan for him to put it on YouTube like 3 days after we do it?
I don't think so. I think that was because of that last time. I think he was hurt. He was
He's
out.
been
he was
out.
out
He's
with
got
his
a very,
knee.
very bad knee.
I think that too. The Instagram had a problem with the login information. That's why we haven't been able to post.
Okay.
But now we're getting back to it again.
I told this to Vince. I want to make sure, Corey, you hear this, and Jackie, you hear it, and our audience that's listening to us right now. I'm working on this thing. It's on your cell phone. You dial this number, this pound symbol, pound 250, and you hit send. So you hit pound 250, hit send. When the call is answered, you say, find my podcast, and you say, like, what's cooking today? And it says, you want what's cooking today? You say yes. It sends you a link to your phone on a text message, whether you're an iPhone or an Android. You hit it, and you got all the freaking podcasts lined up there, including the current one. So I'm going to set it up.